Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here, got another Master Duel video for you, and it is once again Monday, which means it is once again time for our weekly viewer special. For those who have not seen one of these before, this is a video series that we do every single Monday where we take a look at cool decks and the replays using them from you all, the viewers, instead of seeing just me play all my stuff, all the time. Because while I do play, a high variety of decks, there are still quite a few decks out there, many in fact, that I have not yet touched or even thought of, as we're going to see some pretty cool original ideas, I think, in this week's special in particular. Not that there aren't always some in there, whether it is a new brew or text that you're all splashing or just good gameplay, definitely always looking forward to seeing each and every one of these games. So if you want to submit a replay for the viewer special, you're going to want to head down to the description below, where you'll find an invite link to our Discord server, the Hexlexplex. And from there, under the Master Duel section, there is a channel called Viewer Special Submissions, where you can drop the info for your replay. Of course, the main bit of info I will need is your 9-digit player ID. That way I'm able to view your publicly saved replays. Please do make sure they are publicly saved. That way I am able to see and feature them as well. It's also extremely helpful if you want to leave a little blurb about the game, even something as simple as I played this deck versus this deck. But if you want to go into a little bit of detail about how the game played out, that is also, again, very helpful. Also, you can definitely do as many different submissions as you want. Even if you have 10 different replays, you can submit 10 different replays. The only thing that I ask, not that we've had this problem before, is that you just don't spam the same game, submitting that over and over and over again. But I think that pretty much covers it, so let's go ahead and get into these games. Okay, so the first replay comes to us from Abe Mania, aka Honest Abe, who is also a Patreon member. So thank you for that, Abe. For a reminder, for those who may not know, the Patreon, also linked in the description below, has exclusive content, full-length videos. It's not just little few-minute preview clips or single duel replays like I did in the past. Now it's full-blown, typically 15-minute plus videos, often talking about new card releases in the OCG and looking at duel lives and stuff like that. So feel free to check it out if you're interested. But anyway, Abe has a replay that I'm very interested in watching. I believe it should be this one here. We're playing against Sword Soul Tenyi, and we're using Ogdoadic Spright. Now, you might be wondering what possible synergy the Ogdoadic archetype and Sprites could have with one another. And the answer to that question actually lies in the form of a new release called Ogdoadic Daybreak. This just came out in the latest selection pack. This is a quick play spell card which reads tribute 1 reptile monster for every 2 levels that tributed monster had on the field. Special summon up to 1 Ogdoadic token, which are reptile, dark, 0 attack and defense, and level 2. Also, during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard and then target one of your banished reptile monsters. Shuffle it into the deck, and you can send a reptile monster from your deck to the graveyard. So there we are now seeing the synergy that these archetypes have with one another. So I haven't watched this game yet. I don't know how this combo is going to play out, but I'm very interested. So let's dive into it. Alright, we're leading with the Snake Rain, which is a UR. We're going to mill 4 reptiles, of which included Night Sword Serpent, that's going to get summoned back, and 3 Ogdoadic monsters, okay? Alright, Night Sword Serpent comes back, Ogdoadic, the level 8 one will sack it to come back. Then we also bring back the level 4. Level 4F adds Ogdoadic Hollow. What does this card do? Continues trap during the main phase. You can tribute a reptile effect monster. Target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon to your field. Face up, send all, face up, non. Okay. But now we're seeing, yeah, I was going to say, as soon as that level 8 will hit the field, I'm like, we're just going to sack this and get 4 level 2 tokens, aren't we? And that is, in fact, exactly what is happening here. So now we can link 2 of our Ogdoadic tokens together for Spright Sprend. Sprint is going to activate, sending the Plague Spreader from the deck to the graveyard. We're going to stack our Ogdoadic level 4 monster here to special back the Plague Spreader. Getting to bring back another level 4 Ogdoadic in order to go for King of the Feral Imps. King of the Feral Imps will detach to add a reptile. Going to be another Ogdoadic. I'm sorry, I don't know what any of them are. Now I imagine we're going for the gigantic, right? Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I was confused too until I saw, I think it was actually somebody else in the Discord channel pointed out, like, oh, the tokens that are summoned are all level 2. And once I realized that it could summon multiple, because once I saw Tribute 1 monster, I was like, oh yeah, don't they have level 8s? And then sure enough, we're making 4 level 2 tokens here, so that's cool. I love it. I just love blending together 2 archetypes that seemingly, like, don't have anything to do with each other, and yet end up, you know, fully synergizing. It's so cool. It's so cool. We're even getting to leave the King of the Feral Imps on the board, setting up the SP, and then setting 2 before passing. Oh, we have IP on the field as well. We have IP and SP. Quite a few targets to go into. Looks like they led with Cosmic Cyclone that hit the... oh, the Hollow, right, okay. Specialing Vishuda, Heavenly Dragon Circle. We're going to sack off the Little Knight in order to negate that, which we can bring back with Elf, but only once an opponent... or a monster is at the opponent's board, rather. So, yep. There's the Ecclesia. Elf can activate. Ecclesia's going to sack itself now, which is fine. The SP Little Knight will still come back out. Going for Albaz is actually a pretty big surprise here. Looks like this Sword Soul deck is teching a bit of a branded package here. Little Knight in response to Albaz. What was that? Sword Soul Punishment? Banish a secret from the graveyard, add this card from the graveyard. Turn a monster on either. Interesting. Okay. Oh wow, and that is actually going to be the point in which they concede. Which makes sense, you know. They only had 1 card left in hand, and it probably wasn't going to be enough to get them out of it by itself. But wow, yeah, that just going to show the potential with Ogdoadic Spright. That's, again, not the combination you would expect, but a very, very cool one. It's like I was saying at the beginning, you know, just love to see you all cooking up these decks and coming up with cool brews like this. So thank you very much for submitting that, Abe. Super, super awesome. Let's take a look at our next game. Okay, our next game comes to us from Sleepy Cat, who has a 14-turn replay from the latest Xyz Cup. We are going to be on Paleo. Our opponent's going to be on Horus Sun. So definitely, it's kind of like a war of the back row decks, but these are 2 very different kinds of back row decks. Paleo is like a back row combo deck, and Sun is more like akin to back row control. Alright, so opponent's going first here. They're going to lead with Imseti, pitching Dumatef, I think it was, for the Kingstark here. There goes the driver for Kibesnif. And then an Evenly for the Hoppy. Alright, so here's Hoppy, Kibesnif, Imseti, and it was Dumatef, yep. Alright, so we're overlaying 3 of those to go into the Giant Trainer. This is usually a pretty good indication that they are going to be on a more stun variant if they do this on turn 1, because they're definitely going to be looking to be digging for various floodgates, right? That Planet Pathfinder is probably going to grab the Necro Valley, their Skill Drain, and the third card drawn is going to be Ash Blossom. Ooh, that's going to be oodles of fun to play through. Alright, here's the Pathfinder, which sure enough... oh no, it's grabbing the walls of the Imperial Tomb, I see. Setting 3 and then passing. I thought it was going to be a Necro Valley, just because they already had the Kingstark up, but maybe they're not on it. Oh, it's Tickboo as well as Skill Drain. That's fun. There can be only 1. Alright, so the floodgates are up. Let's see what we can do. I think Paleo versus Stun has got to be a pretty interesting matchup. I actually... don't know off the top of my head how affected by these floodgates we are. I mean, obviously we can't have multiple Paleo monsters out at the same time thanks to Tickboo. Wow, going for the number 62. Royal even. Alright, Quaking Mirror Force being set here. Backshack effect activating. We can also Quaking Mirror Force to turn everything face down. And... those can't change their battle positions, period, like, ever. So, that's fun. I mean, to be fair, we are playing against Stun. I will say that is one of my least favorite, like, not floodgate effects, rather, is effects that flip a card face down and say, haha, you can't ever flip this up. You better be playing fusions or have the ability to tribute summon or else you're screwed. Me, the synchro / link enjoyer, is like, no. It's all good. Well, it's not. I'm not a fan of it, but again, we're playing against stuns, so we're using the powers of evil to also fight the powers of evil. Anyway, we'll use the Paleozoic. I'm not gonna pretend to know how to pronounce these, but yeah, this is the one that destroys spell and trap cards, so we can get rid of Tick Boo. Definitely more of a hindrance to us than the skill drain here, as the Paleos don't have onboard effects anyway. They do get summon Horus, the Black Flame Deity here. We're gonna use the Rise to Full Height, and of course it lets us summon our Paleo monster. Alright, yeah, they get to bring back Imseti and Kabesnif. The Rise to Full Height, yep, activating that was important here because now we can use the Graveyard effect and not only force them to battle into the Backjack, which we can then use, but that's also going to be the only monster they can battle with this entire turn, so, or into rather, not with. Alright, there's Hope Harbinger, all those skill drains up, so that won't stop any of our 6 spell cards anyway, even if we happen to draw them. Backjack. Ooh, setting the Needlebug Nest. That is definitely a really good set. We're going to use that now, and then we also get the Paleozoic Canadia. Here's that, and the Needlebug Nest mill 5. I saw Wabaku Elemental Burst in there. Then more Paleo cards, okay. Setting the Balance of Judgment, and then we're going to overlay for Abe Mania. Now that is going to be negated by Skill Drain, because while Paleos are unaffected by monster effects, they're not like Trap Tricks, which are unaffected by trap cards, right? So, alright. Here's the Balance of Judgment. We get to draw a bunch of cards, as well as the Paleo Morella coming out. I think we're going to draw 6, right? No, 5. Okay. Oh yeah, because we summon and then draw. Right. Yep, that makes sense. Callby on the Abe Mania as the Imseti battles into our Morella. Okay. So we're going to take 6k here? No, only 3k because the Hope Harbinger already battled. Oh, but they do get to go into a Zeus now. Funny that the stun deck is actually in the... Oh, well, they can't actually because of the skill drain. Never mind. I was going to say funny that the stun deck is in a spot where they're considering board wiping their own stuff, but they can't actually because of the skill drain. Alright, we get to Extrav and probably into like just set 4 here, right? Set 2, then using our Paleo. Did they forget about their own skill drain? I think they might have. Or they're just like detaching. They might just be doing it just to get their Horus monsters into the graveyard. That would actually make more sense. We're only setting 3. We didn't set the Needlebug Nest. That's interesting. There's probably a reason for that. I definitely am not a Paleo. I'm the furthest from a Paleo expert. I've played against this deck a lot, but never with it. So I know, like, kinda generally what they do, but not, like, how you actually sequence your plays out. Okay, so we're getting rid of the Kingsark here, and then we get to bring back Canadia. They do still have the Field Spell, which is, of course, treated as Kingsark while it's in play. Yeah, looks like they're just using Zeus to... Oh, that's Zeus's other effects, okay. I was gonna say they're just activating Zeus to detach materials to get stuff in the graveyard. They did actually double tribute to get rid of all those face down monsters. It's kind of funny. Now they're going for the gimmick puppet of strings. Ooh, even a royal, just to get more bodies on the board. And while they do have a lot of bodies on the board, we have Rise to Full Height, which will, of course, guarantee that we are going to live through the turn. I think the Rise to Full Height is probably the most frustrating part about playing against Paleo. if I had to pin it down to one, but I mean at the same time I don't think it's like unfair or anything. It's not like that strong. Okay, so that evenly actually came in pretty clutch, banishing a lot of those cards, so that way a lot of those Horus monsters won't be coming back here. We top deck another Rise to Full Height, which will guarantee that we'll live through to the next turn. Elemental Burst, we're copying that with Transaction Rollback to wipe the opponent's board. Now they're in top deck mode, which is a pretty good spot for us to be in because we are in the midst of our resource loop. No more skill drain to negate our Paleo exceeds either. And yeah, we're looking really, really good right now. Got multiple, was that multiple backjacks? I think it was. No, just the one, never mind. Oh, it was both effects though, of course, yep. Normal summon Longi Dragon Maid, mill 3 more. overlay all 3 of these. Ooh, who are you making with 3 level 2s? Oh, okay, it's this one. The Enomalocress. Enomalocress. Something like that. Yeah, I mean, we're looking really good now. We could just start bringing back our Paleo monsters by flipping up random trap cards. They're already at 4,600. We have 3,600. So we just need to summon 1 more Paleo, and we have lethal. I mean, we could do that by just, like, flipping up Wabaku if we really wanted to, and then chaining one of the Paleos in our graveyard. Or just, yeah, we could summon the Dragon Soldier, and then flip up Rise to full height, which will summon a Paleo. That's cool. That was a really, really nice comeback here. And the funny thing is, even though this was a Xyz Cup game, if these 2 decks had run into each other on ladder, this probably would have played out the same. I mean, the Horus Stun deck might have had access to SP Little Knight, but I don't know if that would have changed things, like, super significantly, right? So, that's cool. Good stuff. Thank you for sharing that Paleo game, CPCat. We, of course, have one more duel to take a look at here before we finish off, so let's end with that one. And our final replay for today comes to us from Snon. Snon, you might remember, is the one who introduced me to the Fiend Spright Synchro deck that I talked about on the channel a little while ago. And Snon is probably, like, the one person out there who I'd be willing to say is even more of a Spright fanatic than I am. Snon's always cooking up new Spright, new and old Spright variants. We're going to watch a game with Gishki Spright here, which is a variant I feel like I always say this whenever we watch Snon. We're usually watching Snon play Gishki Spright, which we do every now and then. Everyone just forgets about this variant. I feel like this is probably one of the most, like, hype to not played at all decks in the shortest amount of time in Master Duels history. I still remember when the Gishki stuff was coming out. We're against Fire King Snake Eye, by the way. I still remember when the Gishki stuff was coming out, how people were like, they gotta ban Elf now. This deck is gonna be cracked. You know, Gishki stuff and Elf have never been legal at the same time. And then they were, and then nobody played it. Like, almost literally nobody played it. It's baffling to me. But, very cool deck, very good deck. Like I said, we're up against Fire King Snake Eye, and they're popping off here. Doesn't look like they have access to the Snake Eye side of their engine. Oh, interesting. They ended on IP Pass? How did they start there? Okay, let's go back here. Say normal to Ash for Original Sin for Ponix, for Sanctuary for Island to add Kieran. Okay. Because they already had Nuger Runix in hand. So he popped an Olkinix in deck? And then just overlaid for IP and passed. That's a little bit of a weird sequence. I think they probably should have just gone for... Oh, but they used their normal summon. I was going to say go for Snake Eye Ash. They definitely could have played that a little bit, at least a little bit better though, but... Anyway, Ponix coming back to our hand their hand during the standby phase. We're going to lead with normal summon Gishki Abyss. Opponent's going to imperm. Fun thing about Gishki Abyss, though, is that this card is not once per turn. This card simply says when it is summoned, by any means, just summoned, normal, flip, or special, you can add a Gishki monster with 1,000 or less defense from deck to hand. So, that's fine. Alright, so Spright Carrot coming down here. Nuger Runix coming out. They're going to summon the Kieran. Alright, Fire King Sanctuary. Oh, one thing that Snon asked, let me see here. Best time to use Imperm. I was worried about Kieran rendering my Imperm useless. Did we have Imperm in our opening hand? We did. Okay, so as far as using Imperm here, there's an argument to use it against the Ponix, right, at this stage, because they've already committed their normal summon to the Ash Blossom. So if we negate the Ponix, then they're not going to have any plays unless they're already holding Sanctuary or Island, which they could be, but if they went for Ponix off OSS, it's pretty unlikely. And if Kieran is kind of like, for me, Kieran in this matchup is kind of like, if they have it, they have it, you know? If we have to deal with it, we do. But I do think we definitely should have used it during the draw phase against IP Masquerena. Because, yeah, now that's going to be able to activate here. But that said, we do still have quite a few plays here. So, definitely not the end of the world. Going for the SP Little Knight. Alright, so blue's gonna add us the jet, of course, and then the little knight's gonna banish the carrot, that's fine. Jet F for starter. We have normal summoned already, yeah, so the Grimness in hand doesn't do too much, but we do have my favorite Zeus pilot, number 2 Ninja Shadow Mosquito. Very, very good card. Highly underrated card, I find. I mean, most Spright decks play it, but a lot of people forget that card exists, or just how good it is. As I touched on before just now, a good Zeus pilot, but also it can just straight up OTK. Alright, so we're going to use Zeus here, but we set the Imperm to, of course, deal with the SP Little Knight and make sure she doesn't banish herself and the Zeus to blank our other board wipe here. Opponent's going to chain the Wanted. That's fine. That's not a big deal. So they do have OSS in the yard, so they could OSS for Ash and then Wanted to draw a card. And then Ponix gets to come back as well. Okay. Oh, so Flambridge was the last card. They're pitching that for the Diabell. Diabell is going to add, or set, rather, Subversion. So we have to board wipe now. Yep. Otherwise, we just lose our Zeus. Not ideal, but we do also still have the Nib in hand. So if we time that well, we should be fine. We know it's Ash and Ponix, right? Yep, and now there's going to be one unknown card. Normal summon Snake Eye Ash. Ash for Poplar. That's 7-2, by the way, because Diabell was 1-3 Poplar. Poplar adds OSS again. Don't have to worry about that because it's already been activated. Going into Linkuriboh is 4. Poplar into the Spell Trap Zone. We probably just activate Snake Eye Ash after that. Sacking itself in Poplar. That's going to probably pull Oak, maybe Flambridge? It's Flambridge, okay. That's summon 5, but I don't think we necessarily want to nib right this second. Yeah, no, we definitely wait here. Linkuriboh and Flambridge going into Dark. Flambridge is going to bring 2 back, and now I think this is a pretty solid time to nib. And it looks like Snon agrees, yep. Linkuriboh sacking himself, I guess, to give the token less stats? I don't know, that's a little weird. But sure. Alright, here's nib. Token in defense mode. Yep, right over there. And looks like they don't have any follow-up plays. Because we know Ponix OSS and then one unknown card. Could be a hand trap, given they didn't use it at all, but it still could be any number of things. Alright, so we're going to normal summon Grimness and activate. Of course, the notable thing about Gishki Grimness is that activating it does lock you into only being able to attack with ritual monsters. Very unique kind of lock. You can still summon anything you want, but you can only battle with the rituals, which we're going to sack off their token to ritual summon the Evagishki Neramanus. Neramanus gets to not only revive any water monster, here Abyss to get another Surge, because this card is stupid good and not once per turn, but also, of course, has the monster negate effect. Gonna overlay our Abysses into Gigantic Spright. Gigantic's gonna go, of course, pull out the blue. Blue's gonna go for red. We can link off blue and Grimness for Elf. We could think about bringing back Carrot, or we could even bring back the Abyss for another Surge. Yeah, that's good. We already have Starter for another Carrot here, so I think that's fine. Okay, Gigantic and Abyss are going to link into IP Masquerena. So, I mean, yeah, here we're pretty much like setting up a turn 1 board. While we don't technically finish the duel this turn, you know, we know 2 of the soon-to-be 4 cards in our opponent's hand, and we have so many forms of disruption in play that we should definitely be fine here. Normal summon Ponix, Ponix F. Looks like we're going to chain the Neramanus. Opponent's going to chain Linkuriboh. But Neramanus is... yeah, still going to be able to negate it here. Yep. I mean, to be fair, that only searches Skyburn anyway. Okay, looks like they have a Diabell. That could have been the last card in their hand, or they could have top-decked it, but... either way, Diabell is going to come down now. We're going to Elf for blue. They have a Maxi. Okay, that's definitely what they top deck, because otherwise they would have used that. So their last card last turn was the other Diabell, which you couldn't use because they'd already used the Diabell. That makes sense. Alright, here is the IP linking into the Underworld Goddess here with their their DML star, putting it in the Elf zone. So keep in mind that Underworld Goddess is already unaffected except by activated effects that target this card, and now this card can no longer be targeted thanks to Spright Elf. So Elf and Kara looks like we're going to overlay for a Gigantic that's going to put enough damage on board for us to swing in for lethal, which we are now doing. Good stuff, Snon. Love to see it. Oh, yeah, I mean, I might have been a little biased in this one, showing 2 Spright variants, but hey, to be fair, they were both very, very good games. And the first one especially was a very cool concept. Not that this one isn't too, so thank you so much. That's going to go ahead and do it for this one. Thanks not only to Snon and everyone else who submitted for this video, but everyone who submitted in general. You know, we can only show so many games per video because we only do 3 a week, but you know, still appreciated each and every one of you all the same, because you all submitting is why the viewer special is able to keep on going. So thank you very much. That's going to do it for this one. This is Hexlex. I'm signing out and hoping that you have a fantastic day. Oh, and now we're moving to the outro. Right. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested in, you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's again free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up and it all definitely means the world. So thank you each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.